Namaskar. In today's edition of Right Angle, I will be discussing certain things about the ongoing electioneering here in Delhi. As you know that on 5th of February, the people of Delhi will be choosing their in the government. I think the last government, it lasted 5 years. Yeah, Mr. Kejriwal and his Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and his Aam Aadmi Party has been in power now for more than 10 years, and it all remains to be seen whether they will be getting a renewed mandate from the people of Delhi. And it is a very peculiar, situation that one does notice in Delhi, in the sense that when the Lok Sabha elections are held, and invariably Lok Sabha elections are held 7-8 months before the assembly elections. In the Lok Sabha elections, all the 7 seats invariably go to, not invariably, they do go to the BJP led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But when the assembly elections take place, after some time, the situation changes. And Mr. Kejriwal get nearly 3/4 of the majority of the 70 member the Legislative Assembly. But that is not the point that I would like to make. I just want to say something about Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And for the last 2 days, he literally has been fighting a war against the Election Commission at a very high level, as far as the intensity of that war is concerned. It's not that he has not been fighting a war, as I will be explaining little later. He has been doing it right from the very beginning, and rather for some years now against the Election Commission. But these last 2-3 days, it has reached its peak, in the sense that the Election Commission, and in my considered view very rightly, asked Mr. Kejriwal to explain how Haryana government is poisoning the Yamuna before the Yamuna water reach Delhi, and we all Delhi walas are now using in a way the poisoned Delhi water. And the point is that this is a very serious charge. That means you are saying the government of another state is poisoning the water, and that goes to another state, and that means it is a very, very serious charge. The Election Commission says that do you have any proof? So instead of, they had first given Mr. Kejriwal some time, and then he gave some answer which was not satisfactory, and that is why he was summoned today again. I think 11:30 or 12 he was summoned by the Election Commission to go and give specific answers to 4 or 5 questions that they had. And the news report is this: instead of sobering down, Mr. Kejriwal has gone in hyper in criticizing the Election Commission and what not. And the point is, these gentlemen, that is what really I want to put before you, and you kindly draw your own conclusion. And what I did was that I spent little bit of time, did little bit of research. So one after another I'll be letting you know about this gentleman's history of coming out with absolutely outlandish allegations against people, against persons, against the opposing government, and then this man knows that he doesn't have any facts, and the matter goes to the court because the other parties, they go and they file these defamation cases. And you will be surprised to know how since 1912 or 13, when this phenomenon called Arvind Kejriwal and his Aam Aadmi Party came into being, since then, that means it is now nearly 12 years, this man accuses people, makes all sorts of false allegations, and then invariably when the matter reaches the High Court or Supreme Court, go and tenders apology. And once you tender apology, you should really improve yourself. There should be some sort of introspection. You should reform yourself. You should not be indulging in the same sort of irresponsible comments and uttering total lies. But this man doesn't give a damn to all these things. So let me give some examples. I think that was the main purpose of I interacting with you today. You know that there was a tall, very famous Akali leader. He was a minister. That time Akali Dal was in power. And I think the Sukhbir Singh's Badal, I think is his brother-in-law. I'm not very sure, but I think his name is Bikram Singh Majithia. So what Mr. Kejriwal did when he was, fighting there in Punjab, not now, I think 5-6 years back, he said that this man is involved in drugs trade. And Mr. Majithia went to the court. The matter went to the High Court and the Supreme Court. And do you know what this guy did? He was the chief minister then. By that time, I think in 2018, Mr. Kejriwal, was the chief minister here in Delhi. And then he goes to the Supreme Court and tenders an apology. And do you know what exactly did he say? Let me read it out. This is Kejriwal saying, in the recent past, I made certain statements and allegations against you, against Mr. Majithia, against you regarding your alleged involvement in the drug trade. These statements became a political issue. Now I have learned that the allegations are unfounded, unquote. He is saying in the Supreme Court. And he is asking, please pardon me, and Majithia, okay, and he says that he is the chief minister of, Delhi, and by keeping his positions in mind, he is forgiving him. You make an allegation, then go to Supreme Court and there you say you were wrong. Example number 1. Example number 2. He made a statement against Mr. Nitin Gadkari, I think again in 13, 14, 15 so, that he is one of the most corrupt politicians of India, who, like, Mr. Kejriwal also has made now in this electioneering 10 or 12 corrupt politicians, in which his so-called now ally turned enemy Rahul Gandhi even is one. But let's not mix the issue there. I do not know whether these people will go to court or not. But when he said this thing against Mr. Gadkari went to the court. Matter came to the High Court, then matter again reached the Supreme Court. Everywhere Gadkari was winning, and then this guy was about to be, criminally prosecuted. And then at Supreme Court, what does Mr. Kejriwal say finally? That, and his lawyer, Supreme Court, that I am withdrawing all my statements made against you, besides regretting the damage caused to you and your family and well-wishers. Then he says, I made these statements, I'm again reading it out, that Mr. Kejriwal saying ultimately they are in the Supreme Court. I made certain statements without regard to its verifiability, which seem to have hurt you, and therefore you have filed a defamation case against me. I have nothing personal against you. I regret the same, unquote. And again, like a Dayaban, Gadkari said that, okay, let us, forgive and forget. तो दिस जेंटलमैन जितना गाली गुलौज करके उनका पूरा कैरेक्टर असैसिनेशन कर देता है, मैटर गोज टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट में माफी मांग लेता है, बोलता है कि मैं तो गलत था, बट बाय दैट टाइम द डैमेज हैज बीन डन, बट स्टिल ही डजंट improve. I'm giving more examples. Again in sometime in 2018, there is what this anti-BJP what you say that आजकल यूट्यूबर जो होता है, क्या नाम है, सम राठी ना क्या नाम है उसका, सम ही इज बेस्ड इन हॉलैंड और समथिंग. तो मिस्टर केजरीवाल ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट he makes some disparaging remarks against the BJP's information cell or IT cell. And obviously the persons concerned, they went to the court, and first, they went to the lower court. Lower court said that it is a fit case for criminal defamation. And then Kejriwal and his lawyers, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, go to the High Court saying that you please stop this criminal prosecution. The High Court says nothing doing, will not stop. It is a fit case to be prosecuted. Then they come to the Supreme Court. And when they realize that the case is very strong, then at the Supreme Court, what again Mr. Kejriwal is saying through his lawyer, again let me read it out, that Mr. Abhishek Singhvi is saying, he is informing the Supreme Court that the Aam Aadmi Party stalwart, means Mr. Kejriwal, will apologize for reposting a fake video by YouTube influencer Dhruv Rathi. He told the court that if Mr. Kejriwal knew the consequences of the repost on the social media platform, he would not have done it. Again, that means your entire electioneering were fought on an issue, and you say that this guy has done this, these people are doing this, and then when they go to the court for justice, you ultimately go again, lower court, high court, everywhere, you ultimately reach the Supreme Court because you failed in the lower courts and then high court. And there again, as I said, in the case of that Majithia and then Mr. Gadkari, you again are apologizing. Example number 3. Now I am taking the example number 4. This gentleman made again some absolutely rubbish and outlandish allegations against late Arun Jaitley. That time he was our finance minister, that he was a tall leader. And then he also happened to be the president of this Delhi cricket body. And there again against Arun Jaitley, he said that this man is one of the most corrupt guys, has looted crores and crores of rupees. So again, Vichara Mr. Arun Jaitley went to the court, and this both civil as well as criminal defamation cases, and matter again came to the Supreme Court because everywhere Mr. Kejriwal was losing, and I think Arun had filed a 10 crore damage, some about that defamation case. The finance minister had sued Mr. Kejriwal and other for 10 crores after they accused him of corruption of 13-year tenure as boss of Delhi Cricket Association. But that's not important. Important is that what ultimately Mr. Kejriwal told the court, Supreme Court. You'll be surprised. I have recently discovered that the information and imputation contained are unfounded and unwarranted, and I was clearly misinformed into making these allegations. But I am prepared to apologize. And again, like the Dayaban that he was, Mr. Arun Jaitley forgave him. And he said that okay. But the point is that by that time he had really, killed his reputation by alleging that he was one of the most corrupt politicians. And you see the pattern here. This guy make these wild allegations without any substance. Matter goes to the court. At Supreme Court, he ultimately goes and says sorry and मेरे को माफ कर दो. And all these people उसको माफ कर देते हैं. Example number 5. So that time they were not friends. Now of course in their anti-Modi this battle they may have become friends. Mr. Kejriwal also made wild allegations against Kapil Sibal and his son. And I think that time Mr. Kapil Sibal was a union minister, I think UPA time. He was perhaps handling this IT portfolio. And there was some case in which Mr. Kapil Sibal's son, Amit Sibal, he was fighting a case for some particular business house. And Mr. Kejriwal again making nationally televised these allegations that there was this what they called conflict of interest, and they are absolutely what you say corrupt people, and he is the union minister and his son is defending a particular business house which the father, as the union minister, is prosecuting or something, bestowing some favors and things of that sort. So they also say that this is ridiculous. This is not true, and they went for again these defamation cases. And in this case also, ultimately in the Supreme Court, Mr. Kejriwal goes and tenders an unconditional apology. And what does he write there? What does he say there? Again, I am quoting. All this matters in the Supreme Court. This guy, this habitual liar, making wild allegations, ultimately goes to the Supreme Court, and then again he's saying here, I hereby withdraw all my allegations made against you and your father, to Amit Sibal. That means Kapil Sibal, the father, is the son. I hereby withdraw all my allegations made against you and your father and apologize for the same, quote unquote. And again, like Daban, Mr. Sibals and this thing, I really do not know what is the thing. They all say that, okay, let's forget and forgive. But what is the point? The point that comes out of these examples is this guy continues to do it. There are 2 or 3 more pending cases. That also let me tell you. One is about Mr. Narendra Modi's educational qualification. And do you know, he says he is not a MA in political science from Gujarat University, and despite the Gujarat University answering through some RTI query, no, that is not the case. He has passed his MA in political science. So this guy, and there is another MP of his, Mr. Sanjay Singh, who is the Rajya Sabha MP, they again call a national press conference and saying that it's all bakwas. The Gujarat University is telling lies. This man is a murkh of the highest order. So Mr. Narendra Modi didn't do anything. He remained silent. But the Gujarat University said that it is affecting the reputation of our university, that we are selling degrees. So they went and filed a criminal defamation against Mr. Kejriwal. So the matter again went to the lower court. Matter again went to the Gujarat High Court. Gujarat High Court said that please go ahead with this criminal prosecution. That means it sided with the decision of the lower court. As usual, again, Mr. Kejriwal reaches there the Supreme Court. And I think it is in October. What the Supreme Court did, Supreme Court said in October, I think 4 or 5 months back, Supreme Court said that they are not going to stop this thing, or they are not going to give any judgment whether High Court is wrong or right or not. That case will continue. But that immediate prosecution, they have said that till the case is heard next time, there should be any stoppage of that immediate prosecution. So that means the case is very much alive. He has got some relief from the Supreme Court in this case. Again, these allegations, the High Court was not convinced, the lower courts obviously were not convinced, and the Supreme Court has not even taken a decision. It just has said that temporarily, paused this prosecution against Mr. Kejriwal. There is another also recent example which he has also got some court relief. That is, this is very important. As I said, this fight against this election commission. Again in 2018, Mr. Kejriwal had charged the election commission that election commission is supporting the BJP, and they have deleted many voters from the electoral list. And the election commission said that no party can delete anybody's this thing. Whatever happens, there are proper procedures. It is not true. Nobody's name gets deleted just like that or added just like that. There are proper procedures. And the very fact that the reputation of the election commission was that, I think the matter went to the court. I think the BJP, for that matter, I think the party, because they said that it is the BJP which has done. So the concerned, I think some BJP politicians, they went to the court, and they also said that that guy should have this, there should be criminal prosecution against Mr. Kejriwal for these sort of allegations. And when the lower court said that, Mr. Kejriwal again came to the Delhi High Court, and Delhi High Court refused. That was in September. If this case, Gujarat University case, was in October, that case was September. Delhi High Court also said nothing doing. The lower court, if it has decided to criminally prosecute Mr. Kejriwal because he has not proved it, just like that he has made such remarks, the prosecution should take place. As usual, again Mr. Kejriwal comes to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court, what it did, it dismissed the petition by Kejriwal challenging the criminal defamation case. Actually, what Mr. Kejriwal did, he came to the Supreme Court saying that, sir, ये हमारा केस को बिल्कुल रद्द कर दीजिए. The Supreme Court refused to do this, but they have given this thing some other date. They have given the case will continue. That means that also is a pending case. As I said, I gave you 6 or 7 or such examples before where he tenders unconditional apology, and the people who really about whose characters he had assassinated, they are so dayaban and kind, they forgive him. But this guy never changes. So the point is that when a character like Mr. Kejriwal habitually tells lies, makes all sorts of wild allegations without any basis, without any facts, and then ultimately will go to the Supreme Court and there he will tender apology. But in the process, the damage is already done. In the process, he already contest 2-3 elections in between, because as you know, our judicial processes are pretty long, and that's a different thing. But the point is this: does this guy change? Is it not a particular pattern? And similarly, given these guys' notorious record, given these guys' notorious history as a liar, I think he is nothing but a lying machine. Given he is contesting this election, has made this a big electoral issue, and very proudly is saying that it is the most important election issue, that the government of Haryana is poisoning the water of Yamuna so that the people of Delhi will die. Can there be a more serious, can there be a more irresponsible allegation that can be made? And now you have nothing, and after 2 or 3 years when the matter goes up, you will say, I am very sorry, I am giving you unconditional apology, and the mamla goes there. But is it enough? But why people like you and me, voters in Delhi, I am a voter in Delhi like you all, many people are in the voters here in Delhi, we will not tolerate this thing. Do you know why we should not tolerate this sort of thing? Because we also are getting affected, in the sense that since this guy has been in power over the last 12-13 years, all the defamation cases against him are being legally fought. And his lawyers, they take crores and crores and crores of rupees. Who really has earned the most as a lawyer of Mr. Kejriwal? It is none other than Mr. Abhishek Singhvi, the Congress leader. You see, they now are fighting politically, but I think and these fees are crores and crores of rupees. And I just will give another small instance before concluding, and that is the fact when he was fighting the case against Mr. Arun Jaitley, he had initially employed, I think employed is the wrong word, when his lawyer was the very veteran, late Ram Jethmalani. And Ram Jethmalani, he also had some personal agenda against, Mr. Jaitley. While arguing his case, he also made some very highly derogatory remark. So what Mr. Jaitley did was that he not only, he added now, not only the main person, Mr. Kejriwal, who had defamed him, he also said that, I am now going to add in that list Mr. Jethmalani, who also is defaming me. Maybe he had made that comment outside the court room or not. And then the next time Mr. Kejriwal changed the lawyer. He said that no, because that is going to make the case more complex. And then Mr. Ram Jethmalani filed a case against Mr. Kejriwal. Do you know why? Because Mr. Kejriwal did not pay him his legal fees. And what Mr. Ram Jethmalani is saying, I am, again, quoting you out. What exactly said? Jethmalani, his lawyer, who was defending him in the court, he said, Kejriwal is a big liar, again, quote unquote. And I have asked Kejriwal to settle my pending legal fees of 2 crore rupees. He had presented before the court, I think, twice, I think, when these, arguments were made. That means one such, thing, cost 1 crore. And Mr. Jethmalani is no more. And this case was sometime in 2017 and 18. Imagine hearing 1 crore rupees. Imagine how much, money Mr. Abhishek Singhvi and the likes must have, taken from the government of, Delhi how many crores and crores of rupees, the myriad legal cases that Mr. Kejriwal has been involved with. And we are not talking about his liquor scam for which he was in the jail, Tihar jail. And again, who was his lawyer, you all know again, Mr. This thing. My point is, when, hundreds of, crores must have been spent as legal fees by Mr. Kejriwal for saving himself because of the weak and his wild allegations that he had made against his political opponents. But who ultimately pays for those fees? It is the Delhi government, it is the taxpayers like you and me. So, this is something should be kept in the mind of Delhi people, and particularly when this latest round of allegations by I call the lying machine called Mr. Kejriwal has now come out with this thing that Haryana is poisoning the people of Delhi. Ultimately, his lawyers will be benefiting. He may also get benefit, you never know electorally how it is going to pay the dividends. But it is for you people to judge. Let me stop here. Thank you for listening to me with patience. Namaskar.